This is the Newsload.
Hi, I'm Carrie Anne Stevenson, and I'm here with Newsload, and I am so very beyond excited to be able to interview today Precious Chong. Hello, Precious. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm very wonderful. It's a little snowy and horrible here in London, Ontario, but
Yeah,
thank goodness
same.
for,
Toronto.
yeah, at least we didn't have to call the military to shovel us out this year.
I know, it's true. It's true. The National Guard.
Yeah. And they came in camo. So somebody shoveled out the driveways, but we don't know who.
Exactly.
It's wonderful.
No, they're busy now securing the border from Trump, who's trying to take us over.
Well, we got all the hockey players to protect us. So.
That's true. That's true. I love it. It's causing so many beefs.
So, I am very impressed with your resume. I was stalking you on IMDb and seeing all your credits and experiences and such. But Pearl Harbor is a wonderful movie.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's an epic. I have a very small part of a very big movie, but it was fun. It was a memorable experience. Do you like that movie?
I do very much, and I think in the nursing situation when they were taking the blood and putting it into the Coke bottles, I thought that
Right.
was very, very cool.
Yes, yeah, totally. No, it was fun. It was a great experience. We shot it the scenes that I did was at an old insane asylum outside of California and outside of Los Angeles, northern, like in Ventura. Yeah, it was crazy.
Was it haunted?
Probably, but we were busy on set, Yeah, it was fun. I mean, Michael Bay, the director, he's a piece of work.
I'm sure you have to be on such a large scale with so many moving parts. You really have to,
Yes.
state your messages clearly.
Yes, he has big dick energy. That's how I'll put it. And he has big dogs, but I don't know if he has a big dick. But he has big dogs and he has the big dick energy. So
That's wonderful.
sorry.
No, it's
I'm
perfectly
not bursting your bubble. It's
no,
still
you absolutely can swear and talk about wieners and everything. Were you able to meet Ben Affleck or?
Yes, I did my scene with him and he was very kind. He was very sweet. So yeah, he was lovely, actually. Him and what's his name? God, the other guy, the young guy, the hottie guy.
Josh Hartnett?
Josh Hartnett was so cute. I mean, I was a bit too old for him, but I was like, oh my God, he's so cute. But Ben Affleck was really sweet. I mean, I was not a day player. I had more than one day, but I had a very small part. And they had a lot of moving parts. So it was an intense set, high pressure. And Ben Affleck he took the time to be just because he could tell that I was getting flustered. He was just very kind and sweet. And yeah, I got a good impression from him.
That's wonderful. That's so good to hear because, lately, with the frustrations with Jennifer Lopez and such, the paparazzi upsetting him and everything. It's really nice to know that he is a good guy to work with.
Yeah, he's lovely. I mean, I'm sure he has his own demons, but he's cool. And I have a funny J-Lo story. You want to hear my J-Lo story?
Absolutely.
So when I was in my early 20s and I lived in this duplex in West Hollywood and she was my neighbor. Our windows, we had a small alleyway and our bedroom windows were literally so close. And this was before she was famous. She was on In Living Color. She was a fly girl. But I knew who she was, kind of I knew she was a fly girl, I think, at that time. And it was one of those awkward situations where you could kind of I had this nightmare French boyfriend and she had this boyfriend from, I guess from New York. I could tell that he came, and you kind of could hear everything. And they would fight and have sex, and she would book these crazy jobs, and I would hear it all. But then when we saw each other at the supermarket or whatever, she kind of pretended we didn't know each other. So it was kind of like that vibe, you know? So it was fun. That's my J-Lo story.
I knew the stripper that Ben Affleck cheated on J-Lo with the first round. She was a
In
contortionist
Toronto. Was
in
she
Vancouver.
Vancouver? Oh
Yeah,
my
she was a
God.
contortionist, very bendy and very cute. You know, he's got good taste.
Can you blame him?
She was a roommate of a comedian, a friend of mine.
That's hilarious. Look at all, there's like 1 degree of separation from,
Absolutely. Kevin Bacon is in all our lives.
yes, exactly.
In LA Confidential, were you able to work with Kim Basinger?
No, I did not have any scenes with her. I had my scene with Russell Crowe. And this was Russell Crowe before Russell Crowe was like famous Russell Crowe. I didn't know who he was, but he was really cute. I mean, he wasn't cute like he wasn't Josh Hartnett like physically, but he was so I don't know, I liked him. He was nice. He stayed for my close up, which a lot of like his level, like he doesn't need to. He was complimentary. He kind of was showing off in front of me. Like that's how young we were. Like he was doing all his gun tricks. It was funny. So that's my impression of him.
He's got a rugby player sort of vibe, you
He
know?
does. He's totally like, yes. Yeah. And he totally has a rugby player vibe. Like not actory vibe. But
No, no, no.
yeah,
Sort of jock, sort of boys club, tough guy.
alpha.
Yeah, very
Look,
another big dick energy.
yes, but a different way.
Yeah.
Different kind of big dick. He has like alpha energy, but he's also an artist, which makes him sensitive, which is like a lethal combination, right? Jock with a heart of an artist. Ah, swoon.
And in Playing It Cool, is that the one with The Rock?
No, that's with oh God, what's that? He's famous. He's in a lot of Marvel movies. Come on, what's his name? Who's the stars? It's Michelle Monaghan and uh Chris, is it Chris? Playing It Cool
Chris
actor.
Evans?
Yes, Chris Evans. Thank you. Chris Evans. Isn't he like in
Yeah, he's Captain America.
thank you. Sorry. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of those movies. Yes, I didn't have my scenes with him. Uh, I worked with the director before. I worked with the director in this. He did this spec commercial, which became like a viral thing in like 2003. Justin Reardon. So we did this spec commercial that's insane. You can YouTube it, called Nutrigrain, I Feel Great. And it wasn't a real commercial, but he did it for his reel. And then it was pre-YouTube, but people would sort of email the link to other people because it was so crazy. Like, and then, yeah, so it kind of became like a really early viral commercial. And then he did this movie and he cast me and this other actor he worked with to play he called it like a loser couple. He called it a montage of a couple that would never have a movie made about them. That's what he said. So it was funny. You know, I liked it.
That's amazing. Now, do you prefer working on camera or do you prefer live stand-up shows?
Yeah, they're both I like both, honestly. Like they both have like the pros and cons. I know that's a boring answer, but like I love live because it's instant gratification. You feel the audience. It has you're all in it together. Um, and then camera is great because you can do it again and it has like an intensity that's collaborative. It can be tiring and long days. Um, so that can be kind of monotonous. You don't have the rush of like, because theater and like stand up is you're in control, and in film you're not, but it has its own magic. I love both, but they're just different.
There's a timelessness, captivated in the film, like in 2001, your, part is going to be in that movie forever, that we're going to be able to enjoy. Every Remembrance Day, I watch it kind of thing, and I squeal and and being able to have that, excitement of being able to reach more on film, I find very, very cool. But also, again, the instant reaction of a live audience, the also the difference of you're on a like a huge team of people, but with stand up it's sort of just you and your work. It's fascinating, really.
Yeah, like Maria Bamford, she's so, I love her. Do you know who she is? Yeah,
Absolutely,
she's
Bammer's the
amazing.
best. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think she's like a true stand-up because she's like, oh, when I do TV and film, I'm like, how do I say this line? And like, I mean, she's really funny, but I think there's a realness to doing stand-up. There's like a truth. And sometimes in film, you have to really work to like, because there's so many things that make it feel so not real. There's lights, you have to like really work hard at, and sometimes you don't always succeed, but work hard on making it feel real because it's so not real. You're doing things over and over again. You have weird things strapped to you. There's lights, there's people watching you, and you have to like pretend to be in this imaginary place. And sometimes, especially if it's like a high stakes job and there's a lot on the line and there's a lot of opinions, it can feel really it's not as not free, but that's part of the game of it, is like trying to like create freedom in that sort of those constraints. But stand up is I feel like very raw and real. So I like that too.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have a process that you go through to write your jokes?
Um, yeah, I mean, I mostly like it's a combination of things. I have a hard time like sitting down and like writing jokes, like I'm going to write a joke. Sometimes you have an idea, then you like try it out, and then you listen to the recording, then you kind of find things in the moment on stage, and then that's how I tell students, like, and then you listen to the recording and you're like, oh, that's a laugh, and then you kind of like build it that way. So it's basically something happens, or a kernel of an idea, or but that's why I always tell my students to write everything down. And that's Sandra, who I'm doing a recording her, she's recording her special and I'm opening for her. And she's the one who sort of mentored me in stand up, because I used to do sketch more than stand up. And so she's the one who's always like, when I would talk about stuff, she's like, oh, that's funny, write it down. So it's good to have somebody who's in your life that you can bounce things off of, who knows you, who knows your humor, and they can really, because sometimes you don't know what's funny.
Absolutely. I genuinely believe like Olympic athletes have a coach, and like sports and soccer and everything. But people, especially comedians, think that it's a solo act, but it's very, very handy to be able to work with other comedians and get their opinion, get their like help on a tag, and also touring with them to be able to experience different crowds, different reactions. Sometimes hecklers help with extra tags, kind of thing. It's
Yeah.
really a wonderful process.
Yeah, it is. It's fun. It's so layered.
Very much so.
You really need the audience and feedback. And like I remember watching, like, Amy Schumer has like I don't know, some people love her, some people hate her, but she has a special about her. I think she's pregnant, or one of those documentaries, but it kind of shows her process of getting a special together, and she works with writers, or a writer. And she had like a whole long page, and then she was saying, well, this will probably end up being like 3 sentences. It's like it's a real process.
Absolutely. The dissection, getting to the point, like ads, tags, and sometimes callbacks, like all of it is just so exciting. How do you teach someone to be funny in your classes though? Do you feel somebody needs to come in that already sort of has it and you just help them in the process?
Um, I don't really think, I mean, I don't approach it that way as a teacher. I approach it that everyone has their a valuable, like everyone is an individual and they have a voice. So it's really about helping them, share as much material, like really the process is, share as much personal material, stories, things that happen, lists, coming at it from every angle to get them writing as much as they can, and just like sharing in front of the audience. Like I get people to get up there right away. And yeah, like some people are more naturally funny than others, but that doesn't necessarily mean those are the ones that will pursue it. It's weird. Like some people will surprise you. They're okay, and then they get on stage at the end of the course and they do the set and they kill. Or someone else is like so naturally funny, but they don't work on it, so they kind of level out. It's you can't write anybody off. That's what's sort of interesting to me about teaching is you never know, and it's all about exploring and getting people to, I like comedy that is more storytelling, truthful base, like from your life, rather than like, I mean, of course, if you can write a good Trump joke, go for it. But like, you really want to know the person before you hear their opinion about politics, right? You want to, unless their political jokes are so personal and original to them,
Absolutely.
So to
Absolutely.
answer your question, I don't think you necessarily have to be funny. Sometimes that's annoying when someone knows or thinks they're funny, and you're like, okay, whatever. Because you have to,
Overactor.
yeah, because you have to kind of have, stand up, as you know, it's a vocation of humility, really. You just have to be willing to like really eat a lot of shit in a
Yes.
in a weird way, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Humility, being lovable, all of those things. Also, work ethic. You're absolutely right. You got to put in the time. You can't just walk on and improv every set because sometimes they're going to bomb. Like the first time you might have been awesome, but the second time you might have lost that nervous energy kind of thing. It's fascinating. So absolutely work ethic, writing out the full page and like editing it and everything. It's all fascinating. Have you met any celebrities that have left you starstruck?
Um, yeah, like a lot, like, well, what comes to mind is when I was little, because my dad is famous, Tommy Chong of Cheech and Chong, and I loved Peter Sellers when I was a kid, the Pink Panther movies, and he was going to come to a party of my dad's. I went to school with his daughter, but I didn't know him, and I remember I was like 7 or 8, and he was supposed to come to this party that my dad was having, and I was so excited to meet him because I thought the Pink Panther movies were so funny, and he was just so hilarious to me. Um, and I ended up falling asleep, so I didn't get to meet him. That's that story. I was so disappointed, but I think he was a bit of a weirdo, so it probably was best that I didn't, meet
Yeah,
him.
at 7 years old, you probably don't want to. It's almost encouraged not to meet, your idols because they'll ruin the
And
image.
then this weird thing happened. I was working on this movie about Amelia Earhart, and it was Hilary Swank was in it. She was playing Amelia Earhart, and I'm not. I mean, I think she's a good actress. I'm not a huge like diehard um, Hilary Swank fan. I thought she was great in all the movies I've seen, but for some reason when I met her on set, she introduced herself. She said, "Hi, I'm Hilary," and I said, "Hi, I'm Hilary." I like pretended, I don't know. I just said her own name to her. It was very awkward. So I was like weirdly tongue-tied in front of Hillary Swank. So yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, but I can't think of other, I'm trying to think if anybody else comes to mind.
No problem. No problem. So this special coming up, are you recording in Toronto?
Yes. I mean, I'm opening for Sandra. She's recording her special next Friday at the Comedy Bar. And yeah, people should come and see it. And then I recorded a special that we finally released. I had a long time show with Melissa Story called Story and Chong, and we're on hiatus, but we did the show for about 7 years, and then we recorded a duo album, and that you can stream that. It's called Fake Clown.
Very, very cool. That's on YouTube?
It's on Spotify. You can stream it. You can buy it on, is it Bandcamp? I think you can buy it on Bandcamp. Yeah, all the streaming services.
Amazing, amazing. Well, Precious, it's been amazing to chat with you, and very sweet to hear about childhood parties and that you fell asleep. That's so sweet. But if I could ask you one last thing, if you could say it loud, say it proud. I love Newsload.
Oh, I love Newsload.
Thank you so much, Precious. I hope you stay warm in this terrible cold winter.
Oh, thanks. You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
This is the Newsload.